Hello everybody, welcome back to the Border Corner. I've just got the South Green cockbird hanging. I've hung him on the front of the cage with his hen. She's just started to build a nest again, so I'm just letting him see her. I didn't want to put him straight in with her. If she's not ready, then what I've seen has happened so far has just led to fighting. He's getting down in front of the cage and showing some interest, but he's not sort of bursting into song yet. So what I found has happened when I put them in this state, they just fight. So I'm just going to let him have a look and wait and see when we get a positive reaction before I let him go in. Anyway, so on this week's episode, it's going to be pretty brief, to be honest, because there's not a lot that's happening in Border Corner this last week other than bad news. So I'm not going to dwell on going around all the birds like I do most weeks, giving you an update on what they're all doing. So what I wanted to just sort of show you is that briefly where we are with what's happened with the hens that were sat on eggs. Quick look at the 5 chicks to see how they're getting on, and then we'll talk about what's going to happen next. So last week I was fairly optimistic about 3 hens, the South Green hen, the variegated buff and the variegated yellow. Unfortunately, with all of these, this is the nest that's got the South Green in, and this is the buff variegated, and then down at the bottom you can see the yellow variegated. All eggs are clear. So despite me seeing probably a dozen threads between them both, between the variegated yellow cockbird and the South Green cockbird, I stood here and watched multiple matings, and yet all those eggs are clear. So that's a frustration. I don't know what. There's obviously an issue with fertility, I'm imagining, whether that's fertility of the cockbird, whether it's the hens. I'm wondering whether the hens might be carrying too much weight. That's something else that I can think about trying. So I'm putting the hens on a much more basic seed diet. So it's going to be just plain canary seed, no conditioned seed. I'm just going to give them Niger seed once a week rather than every 3 days. And I'll see if that makes a difference. I've tried just about everything else that I can think of. So that's the next thing we're going to do. I've got another hen that I just mentioned, this 3 parts dark hen in here. She's quite a nice little bird, so it'd be good if we could get something out of her. But I mean, I'm saying that every week with every bird, aren't I? So we'll have to wait and see whether she comes in or not. In the top cage, I've got a clear buff hen, and she was paired to the variegated cockbird. Sorry, just getting in focus. There we go. She was paired to the variegated cockbird, or I say paired. I had them in the cage together. I was hoping that they would. I'd seen him feeding her through the wire when I had the wire slider in. I've been trying to run him as a strike pairing as well. I've tried everything with him, and they haven't mated at all. There's been nothing. And guess what? She's now sitting on 2 eggs, so they're inevitably going to be clear as well. So yeah, just been used really. One possible little bit of silver lining might come from these 2. I ran this yellow, clear yellow cock in with the blue hen. They didn't really seem to like each other for quite some time, but I have seen him feeding her quite a lot, so that's a positive. And he has been on her back, but I haven't seen any stargazing, so I'm pretty sure that the eggs. She laid her second egg this morning, so no, sorry, third egg this morning. So I'm pretty sure that they're almost certainly going to be clear as well, which is a bit frustrating, really, because I know I lost the chick, but that clear yellow cock was actually the cock that I paired with this buff hen that did give us that one chick that we had a couple of weeks back. So I know that he's fertile. I'm just hoping that between the this pairing that I've got now with the blue hen and the clear cock, I'm just hoping now that something will come of their partnership. So carrying on the white line, the allied line, I've got my variegated white hen, and I've been lent this yellow cock, and they've been together. They seem to agitate each other as well. They were in together for a week, and all they did was pretty much ignore each other. And I was given some advice about keeping all my cocks in separate cages, maybe that the cocks are getting bored and not singing as hard and working as hard with their hens. So I started getting all the cockbirds in. I haven't got any cockbirds, or in fact I haven't got any pairs set up now. All the birds are now being kept singly, with the idea of putting them together with their chosen hen multiple times during the day. Which is what I did with my best green cockbird and that self green hen, but obviously it didn't work with them. So we're looking at the potential of some youngsters from this pairing. She's laid her fourth egg this morning. Again, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit doom and gloom again today because I don't know what else I can do that could potentially give us some youngsters. So I've seen him tread this hen multiple times, but I don't think that he got a successful mating out of it. She's carrying backwards and forwards still, backwards and forwards. She's taking things to the nest. The other thing with both these two pairs on the allied front, I haven't taken their eggs out this time to put in the egg box. I've just left them in the nest pan. I'm just trying something different, just in case me doing that was causing some problem in some way. I'm not sure whether it will have done, but I'm clutching at straws a bit, really. So that's the allieds. Oh, actually, while we're on the allieds, so this is a 2021 clear buff hen. She's sitting on 5 eggs, and those 5 eggs are the 5 eggs from the variegated white hen that we just looked at. The eggs are all full. I had to move them. They did go to the green, the self green hen. If you look back on the previous videos, you'll see that I had a self green hen that was sitting on clear eggs that I put these the white hen's eggs under. Unfortunately, the green hen walked off the nest. So I moved the eggs again to this hen. So as I say, I don't know whether moving them 3 times is successful or not. I know the eggs were full because when they were on the green hen, I candled them and they were full. So anyway, it's the 19th today, and the eggs are due tomorrow. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and wait and see if we get any joy. One of the last birds I wanted to sort of take a look at today is this buff bird. I think it's a hen. It so far has shown absolutely no interest in breeding at all. No interest of singing if it is in fact a cock. I've had a few people that have messaged me when I asked what they thought it was, and the consensus is that it is a hen. But so far, no carrying. I put bits and pieces in for her. I've put a nest in to see what she does. I've tried all those few things and there's been no response at all. So I think it was quite a late bred bird, but it's certainly coming up to 11 months old now, I think. So I would kind of expected it to have started by now. But yeah, so that's another one to wait and see on. So fingers crossed that at some point that he or she shows us what she is. So the only real good news I can bring you this week is not even with the borders, it's with the fifes. My nest of 4 little fifes. I dropped the nest down onto the floor this week, and she's both Cock and Hen have carried on feeding the little ones. I've actually seen one of the youngsters out this morning, bouncing along on the floor of the cage, but for some reason he's decided to go back. Yeah, both parents are still feeding the chicks on a regular basis. So these 4 are looking good. I'm expecting them to actually jump the nest sometime in the next sort of 24, 48 hours. I did put another nest pan in because she started carrying bits and pieces around the cage, so I thought she was probably thinking about a second round. So I did put another nest pan in for her, but she just ignored it. She clearly just wasn't ready yet. So yeah, so hopefully it won't be too long, and they'll be on their way, and then we can start a second round of these. I love it when you see the birds feeding the chicks. So I'm just going to let this. I'm just letting it play out whether she's finished on cue. So yeah, so there's those fifes. The other fifes, so far, we've had nothing from these guys with regards to trying a second nest. He's singing as strong as ever. She just doesn't seem that bothered really for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens with those as well. So there's been lots of reports from friends on Facebook and other social media platforms about what's happening with their birds this year. There are many experienced fanciers who are reporting dead in shell, clear eggs like me, lots of clear nests and so on. So while I can take a little bit of comfort in the fact that it must mean that I'm not doing anything wrong, there are also loads of fanciers out there that are breeding lots of birds already, boarders included. Now, most of you that are watching the channel are probably border fanciers, I guess. And I've been told, and I'm led to believe, that boarders are notoriously difficult birds to breed, and they can be quite finicky. Obviously, the other side of that, there are other people out there that are breeding boarders well and always have done. But I think as a rule of thumb, from what I've been told, they are tricky birds to breed. Now, when I first started and I first thought about taking up boarders, I reached out on Facebook and spoke to a few people. And one guy who fairly senior, really, really nice bloke, really, really helpful. And he said to me, you need to think long and hard about whether you want to start with boarders because of their difficulty to breed. The idea there was suggested that maybe I ought to think about one of the other breeds of canary just to get the hang of breeding and so on and so forth. I must admit I did consider that, but it's a personal perspective. Every person out there that breeds birds, whether it's canaries, British birds, finches, parrots, parakeets, whatever, you've all chosen those birds for a reason. It's because they appeal to you in a particular way. And that's the same with me and my boarders. The reason I've got into boarders is my grandfather in the 60s and 70s, he actually bred border canaries, and I can remember visits to see Grampy when I was still in short trousers and going out to his bird room and seeing all of his border canaries in his bird shed. In fact, this cage is one of my grandfather's cages. Now, it's actually no good to use as a show cage anymore. It's got some bent bars on it and it's not straight when you look at it. From a sentimental perspective, this means a lot. My grandpa, after he died, my mum got hold of this and it was hanging up in her kitchen all through when I was growing up, and right up until I got my boarders 2 and a bit years ago, and my mum gave me the cage. So it's been great having this. It's no good for me to show birds in, obviously, but I can use it as a training cage. So inevitably, it was going to be boarders for me that I kept. So I'm really struggling at the moment to know why the birds aren't breeding. I'm getting lots of different tips and advice. One of the trains of thought is that I might have a virus or bacteria or something in the bird room that has affected all the birds, because they don't, while you can hear there's lots of singing going on, they're not always bouncing like a lot of fanciers bird rooms are. So one of the ideas that's been put forward is that I might have, all the birds might have an underlying virus or something. So that's something that I'm going to have to look into. There are some companies out there that do some testing on bird droppings. So I think this week I might collect some droppings and send it off to a lab just to have them look at it. Because if they come back and say your birds have got X and that's going to write off this breeding season for me, at least I'll know that that's what it is, and I'll stop putting pressure on myself and hoping that the birds breed. I'll know that there's a tangible reason why they're not. If that comes back clear, then it has to be, they're all in an enclosed environment, so whatever happens with the birds is down to me. So if they're not breeding, I'm not giving them the right situation, and I've just got to work out. I keep asking, so many people out there giving me advice, and it's brilliant. I've just got to keep trying and maybe try different things. Like I said about leaving the eggs in with the allied pair, leave the eggs in, don't take them out this time. One of the things that I did, I was feeding calcium on a regular basis. I was giving that, I just assumed that calcium had to go to all birds. So I gave it to the cocks as well. So, and one of my guys that has helped me tremendously right from the start said to me that I perhaps didn't ought to be giving the calcium to the cockbirds and to stop doing it. So, as that can lead to infertility problems with cocks. So I stopped doing that as well. Yeah, and as I say, I've looked at some of the hens, and if they're a yellowy colour on their skin, that suggests that they're carrying a little bit too much weight, a little bit of fat. So while they're not all yellow, like dark yellow, there is a yellow tinge to them. So I've put them on this straight seeds diet to try and sort that out, to see if that helps get potentially any lingering fat off. So we'll keep going. We're still only the 19th of May, so I've probably got 6 weeks yet to see if we can get something anyway. So we'll see what happens. Okay, well that's it for this week, folks. It is, as I say, it's a much shorter video this week. I've noticed that my number of viewers has been dropping off quite considerably. So I think people are getting bored with the fact that I'm putting videos out with no news on, and it's the same doom and gloom every week. So yeah, I will keep going. I will, even if it's, as I say, if there's nothing to say, I won't put a video out like I said last week. So I'm just going to keep trying, and hopefully something will happen. So in the meantime, keep on birding. Hope things are going well for you all, and I'll see you on the next one.